Hello friends, and welcome to the November plot tour. I can't believe that I haven't recorded a single video in the whole of November. I'm very sorry for my absence. The weather here has been wintry and vile, really. We had a storm which took out a whole load more greenhouse panels, and it immediately snowed. Then it was very cold and frozen for about a week, and then lots more cold weather or stormy weather, which has just meant that there's been no point even pretending to do anything in the garden. And without proper coverage in the greenhouse, this is now also a bit of a redundant space. And it's got to be said, I'm so over this greenhouse. I am done with it until spring. It's a two-person job to get the panels back in. Then I need to silicone in the sides, and it's yeah, I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it, and it sort of put me off doing anything else in the garden. I've been defeated, I think, by this greenhouse. I used to, those of you who are aware of the story of the greenhouse, this is one that I had from years ago before I moved to this garden. It's a cheap and cheerful polycarbonate greenhouse. I don't remember it being quite as bad previously, but I think it used to be in a much more sheltered position, whereas every time we have a storm in this garden, it falls apart again. So, yeah. If you are going to go down the route polycarbonate greenhouse, firstly I recommend don't, just save up a little bit longer, get a proper greenhouse. But if you are determined to go down this route, just seal in the panels as you go, save all the problems. So yeah, so no gardening has been happening, and quite a lot of losses. All of my tomatoes that were in this greenhouse have all frozen and died. But there's quite a lot that's still going, so let's get on with the tour. The things that are still alive in the greenhouse include the lettuces that are nice in this and sheltered in this corner. The dill's done really well, although it is now falling over. It needs to be harvested, so I'm just going to chop all that up and put it in the dehydrator. There is plenty of coriander, and the spinach, to my great surprise, is also doing very well. These could probably do with being in bigger pots, but I'm absolutely terrified at this point to move them, so I'm just going to try and nurture them in these ones. The hardy annuals that I planted, I've got cornflowers. There's lots of cornflowers in that one, and a few in that one. So I've either got all or nothing by the looks of it. And some nigella has started to come up as well. Nothing in the poached eggplants. I anticipate that probably I won't get anything if they haven't started to germinate. Lost all the basil, but the asparagus lives on. Looking forward to getting that out next spring. And let's just have a quick wee look at the devastation once again in here. So siliconing in the top panels worked, but it popped out the side panels instead, and I didn't silicone those in when I had the chance. So lesson learned the hard way again. The cold weather has battered everything that was growing in the garden, so the nasturtiums have died off, but the things that I planted to grow over winter are actually still doing pretty well. So the chard, the kale, parsley, pak choy, all the garlics that are overwintering. These are all, I think these must be garlics. I wondered if perhaps they were leeks, but I think they must be garlics. And even though some of them have had some bits of frost damage, the plant itself are still okay. Just lots of weeds, again, not doing anything about that right now. Still filling this bed with compost and wood ash from the fire. Pots are just hanging on in there, quite a lot of dormant plants, but some surprisingly new growth on the lemon balm. This pot of mint seems to be very happy. So, you know, there's still plenty going on. My giant sage is undeterred, but the vine has died off. And I learnt last time that it is not dead, it is just dormant. So I'm going to totally leave it alone and see what happens in the springtime. I've still got carrots and winter savoury. This might be due a chop back, but I'll probably leave it till spring. And I do actually need some carrots for my dinner. So, as I never thinned these out, I don't expect them to be particularly exciting. And that will be plenty to put in a soup. And I can leave the rest in there. No peanut, it's not for you. Where can I put these so I don't forget them? And so that Peanut doesn't eat them. Okay, oh yeah. He's got one. Peanut, have you got a carrot? He loves carrots. I will also need some parsley before I go in. The cosmos has also been killed off in the frost. I don't tend to like to clear away the dead plants at this time of year, simply because in the spring things will be eating them, seeds and things, so they're fine as they are. The sage and the fennel are still going. There's actually, I just noticed, some turnips growing in here, not very big, but they are growing, so I'll leave them a little bit longer. Snapdragons seem to never want to die in this garden, but some beautiful seed heads on those cornflowers. There's a few things that have had a bit of a battering here. The globe artichoke is still going, although definitely has suffered some outer leaves. Still got the marjoram looking very healthy. There's new growth on that raspberry. The tarragon, I think, is dying back. That does tend to die back over winter. And again, I don't know where all of these weeds have come from. The pond, looking a bit wintry. It's getting a bit full of leaves now. The giant parsley, which I shall take some from. That will also go in a soup. That'll probably be enough. In the pig pen, there should be some spring onions, but I'm not sure how well they're doing. You see some here. And then the long border at the back. I've done nothing with it, but the rhubarb is poking through. I think maybe because we've had such up and down weather, not all the plants entirely know what they're supposed to be doing with themselves. Things that should have been dormant aren't. Not much else is going on here. Everything is in wintering mode. No signs of spring yet, but we're not fully in winter. My strawberries, which were trying to grow new strawberries last time I spoke to you, I think have started to finally winter. Yellow leaves and browning off leaves. But they've survived the cold weather so far quite well. Peanut is trying to steal the carrots. Peanut! Peanut, leave it alone. That's for my lunch. Peanut, that's the biggest one. Nope, that is Peanut's carrot now. I better pick up these carrots. Otherwise there'll be nothing left for lunch. And in the main garden, similarly, all of the trees have lost their leaves. Fig tree looking very bare, as is the apple tree. The leaves are also coming off the blueberries. My improvised water system is doing really well. Look how full that is. So yeah, pretty wintry looking garden, hanging on in there until spring. So I'm sorry it's been such a long time since the last video. I hope you've enjoyed this just very short little catch up with how the allotment is looking in November. And I hope that you're enjoying your gardens wherever you are, or enjoying perhaps thinking about what it is that you will do with the garden next spring. So it would be lovely to catch up with you and your news in the comments, so please do remember to do all of the things YouTube likes, which is to like, comment and subscribe this video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.